Welcome to another edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on the Serbian farm. I don't know. That's what I was going for today. Anyways, so we have planted our field with barley. And because I have the hard workers consume seed and fuel, that took a lot more seed than I thought it was going to take, and it used quite a bit of fuel up. Now, today what we're going to do is, I forget who suggested, one of the commenters suggested that I go and harvest the other fruits that are on this map. So, what we're doing today is we're doing just that. I realized that there are these fruits here that we could easily just harvest, and I figured they're here to be harvested. I think actually if you play this particular map without changing it like I have, you do get, I think, this field already. So what I've done is I've brought the harvester over here. I've brought my gas with my fuel tank on the back so we can refuel these things, and I have my Fent over here as well so he can unload and drop off right away. So I'm gonna have those guys do this, and oh, what's happening there? So because I have the multi-fruit mod installed, this particular, basically anything on the map here just automatically gets picked up here, which is kind of nice. So I thought there was an inside sound for this. Oh, there it is. So because I have that installed, basically all of this is automatically gets attached to the harvesters and the tippers. So, in order to test that out, let's just hop in the Fent here and just test to make sure that's working properly. Obviously, the harvester is working just fine, but we're going to go ahead and test out this to make sure this is working as well. So we have 22 sheep, 20 cows now, a little bit of liquid manure, not a whole lot, but it's something to get started. So we have $16,000. The reason why we only have $16,000 as well, perfect, it works, is because I had to refuel and I had to get the seed for the seeder as well. So that's why I don't have very much money sitting around there. Just get out of the soybeans here. So that's the reason for not having very much money, basically. We started off, I think the last episode we ended with about 23,000, and this episode we're starting with 16, and that is because I had to basically get the seeds, and I had to buy the seeds, basically is what it boiled down to in the end. So I have been doing a little bit of research into which mod potentially work for using my own seeds that I harvest. And so far I found like one. That's it for the time being. It has worked, but it's not necessarily a very graceful way. Let me just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. So the mod that I discovered, or actually was suggested to me, I believe by Sour Grapes, I think it was, is, where are you? Harvesters, tippers, cultivators, plows, soy machines. Was the John Deere Air Seeder. This is from American Eagle Modding, I think it is. It does work, but didn't work as well. I tested it out and didn't work as well as I wanted it to. It was a little, I don't know. I'm not sure what to call it. It was just difficult to do, I should say, is what it boiled down to. I got it to work for the most part, but it does take a really long time to get it set up properly, I've discovered. And I tried it with a couple different things. So I tried it with one of I can load it with seed from anything. That wasn't a big problem. Fertilizer, I couldn't. Yeah, it's supposed to be able to use liquid manure, and I did it. Could use the liquid manure, could fill it, but it wasn't able to have seeds and liquid manure at the same time. I did a little bit of testing with it, so I'll have to continue to try out that to make sure it does work. I tried out the Amazon Condor to see if it worked, and it did not function the way I wanted it to. So, oh, am I totally gonna be in its way? So I tried the Amazon Condor, Amazon Condor there. That's the one that does fertilizes, and it seeds at the same time and cultivates. It's basically our one-stop shop, so to speak. Alright, let's just stop over here, let them unload. There we go. It's a really nice seeder actually, but it doesn't work what I want it, what the suggestion is basically. So for now, what I've been doing is just buying the seeds to fill my seeders for the time being. So until I find a mod that'll work properly, basically, or is easy to use. I'll probably fiddle with a little bit more of the John Deere air seeders just to get them to work properly. I'm sure these will work properly. They do sow soybeans, which is one of our seeds that we can sow on this particular map. It's and sunflowers, I guess, but I don't know. It doesn't do sunflowers to the best of my knowledge. So for sunflowers, we'll need this. Could do sunflowers, and it should do soybeans as well, if we so chose to. Yeah. So that's what I've been trying a little bit off camera. I was going to buy the Abbey liquid fertilizer spreader, but seeing as I had to buy the seeds, I did not, as you can see. We basically have everything over here. So basically what we had last time. Nothing new purchased at the moment. We're basically just waiting for a few things to happen. Now, as I mentioned, I have sown this field, but I haven't accelerated time yet or anything. It hasn't been fertilized yet either, so that's a bit of a problem. Because I was going to use the fertilizer in the seeder, but then we have the challenge, so I'm going to try and avoid that. So what I might have to do is grow this field without it being fertilized, which is going to be a little painful. But I don't think we could afford the fertilizer anyways, so that's the other thing I thought about. So we do have cows now, and I'm not sure what the growth time on barley is, but it'll probably be a little bit, at least a day of in-game time, I'm pretty sure. So alright, so the cows are good. They have wheat, total mixed rations. No, they don't have that, or silage. So what we're going to do is, the way it's going to work is, we are going to harvest this right here once it's ready to go, and then what we'll do is we'll use some of the straw to put it in the bedding for the cows, and we'll use some of the straw to make chaff, and then we'll put the chaff in this silage over there. Actually, we could do that just with grass too, I suppose, but alas, we cannot use that because our tipper for grass is over here. Alright, so this field hasn't been fertilized either, so that's the other thing. So we're not going to get a crazy yield off of it, but it will give us a little bit of money to play around with, a little bit more money to play around with. I actually had a little talk with the guy who owns this field, and he said, yeah, go ahead, I'm not doing anything with that field yet. Basically, he hasn't fertilized, he just planted the soybeans basically as a way to reduce erosion. Oh, it has been fertilized actually. So he just planted it basically to reduce a little bit of erosion that was happening. And yeah, I asked him, and he said it was cool. So we're buds. It's all good. All right, so there are a couple other fields that we could potentially harvest. We're on 27 right now. 42 is corn. This is wheat, I think, and this. So it's 9. Is it 14? Oh, maybe not 14. So 9, 27, and 65 we could potentially do. But for now, we're just at 27. Don't want to get on everyone's bad side. Anyways, could you actually imagine, like, if someone just left this field here and you asked if you could harvest their soybeans? I'm pretty sure no farmer with the right mind would be like, yeah, sure, go ahead, harvest my soybeans. I'll just, you know, take the hit and you can have all the cash. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Interestingly enough, this summer in Ontario, soybeans hit a nice little high there. I think they hit 1,300, I think it was, or 1,288, something in that area. And I think that's a ton, which is a good price for soybeans. So we actually, I didn't personally, but some people were able to get a really good deal on soybeans in terms of how much they got for it. There we go. Put the weights in the back here. Is he gonna be fine? Yeah, he'll be fine. So he rocking 25%. Yeah, so they were able to get a really good price with their soybeans this summer. So people who have like a what would you call it? Oh man, it would be like a stockbroker commodity. I can't remember the name of it, but basically it's someone who checks the commodity prices. So that's like soybeans, canola, all that jazz. He basically checks the prices, and he'll let you know when there's a high price for something. So for example, if you have soybeans stored in a grain bin somewhere, he would say, hey, soybeans are at a nice high, do you want to sell X number of soybeans, sort of thing. So that's what he would do. So I know a couple guys who were able to capitalize on the soybean high this summer, so that's good for them. I'm going to go ahead and fill that tractor up while I'm just over here. Might as well. I did actually pick up another mod. I haven't tested it out yet, but I might. We'll see. Let's just turn this around. And the cool thing about this is, I don't know if you can do it out of the car, out of the truck. No. Anyways, check this out. So it's gonna pull up here, and I have to go out of here. Check it out. It actually has a little line that comes out, so you can fill up your tractors and whatnot. Thought that was pretty cool. It took me a long time to figure that out, actually, because I was trying to figure out why I couldn't refuel from this a while ago, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? But I figured out, I just pressed a whole bunch of buttons basically and found that was the problem in the end. So that tractor takes a lot of fuel. Jeez. Oh, he's almost there. Good. We've already paid for the fuel, so it's not so bad. Alright, let's put that away. Drive this off here. And actually, where's the closest gas station? So it's still a great demand for canola. Basically, all I did is I brought the combine over here for the time being. It wasn't too bad on gas to get it over here. So I decided, what the heck, let's do that. Alright, so here's those ruts I was talking about when we first popped into this map. So these are the ruts that I was talking about. They're kind of cool. So depending on which vehicle you actually go through them in, this vehicle handles them really well, actually. But not every vehicle does. That's the beef. So is there a road we can go? No, that's the railroad. We'll just go into town and get some gas. Oh, there really isn't. I thought there was a gas station in town. Alright, we'll cut across the field then, because apparently there's no gas station in town. I thought there was. That's strange. Alright. It's gonna hop off here. Train's gone by, so we'll be okay there. Let's just refill the tank here. We're gonna do about 50%. I guess that's in liters. 150 a liter. That's about what it is right now in Canada. A little bit less than that, actually. Oh, there we go. Whew, 11,000. So I don't want to run out of fuel way over there, so that's why I decided to pick up a little bit more fuel. Because my combine gets stuck over there, that's not good. And I believe if you reset your combine, if you reset a vehicle with no fuel left, I think it only puts like 10 liters of fuel in it, I think, when you reset it. So if you run out of fuel, I guess that's one way to get around that issue, but it does create an interesting situation. Alright. Hop on the road. So here's the beef farm. So what we might do is eventually we'll get to a situation where we can put some silage in there and put a little bit of straw in there. Yeah, this truck handles this really well. Holy cow. Not every vehicle handles it this way. So this is one of the reasons why I really like this. I wish this had, like I said, I wish it had a hitch on the back so you could hook up wagons and stuff. But it doesn't, because the ground presence of that vehicle is fantastic. I love it. And actually, the mod I was talking about earlier on, that I picked up was another. Strangely enough, I think it's a Russian-made vehicle. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can find it quickly while it's unloading. I think it's in, no, not front loaders, tractors. FHJK should be after, yeah. So this is the Kras 51. I think this is a Russian-made one. No, it's Ukraine. But it looked like a nice mod, and I'm gonna check it out eventually, but not at the moment because I don't have any money to check it out in this particular Let's Play. Alright, so let's turn that off for the time being. Wait for that combine to do its thing. Excuse me. Let's hop in the Ford 7000. Did we... I think we got everything watered over here just okay. I'm just gonna hook it up to the... I think we sold all the extra grain, didn't we? Let's just check. Looks like that's yes. Yeah. So I'm not gonna hook them. I thought we had a little bit more canola to harvest, but I guess we don't. So I'm gonna turn that off. Head back over here. Keep an eye on these guys. And what I'll do is I'll actually do a little bit of harvesting myself because he's missing a chunk. That's how much he was missing. So 2 whole rows. And because the fuel is so expensive, we need to try and utilize all of it, all the header as best as possible. So the one thing I wish we had in this particular combine was, oops, I'm totally missing a row. On this particular combine was the cameras, but it's an old combine, so I'm not that surprised by the fact that it doesn't have that on it. So. Say la vie. Yeah, this really is fertilized. I think soybeans gives you a better yield than this, but I think for soybeans in Ontario, roughly the average yield is somewhere in, I think, 45 bushels an acre. I think it is something like that. So I don't know what this is coming out to be. It'd be cool if they actually had yield monitors in your combine, so it would tell you you're getting this much in this area, but Farming Simulator 2013 isn't quite that advanced, I guess. Interestingly enough, there is a new Farming Simulator, not Farming Simulator, but this one, but UIG, I think the company that's doing it. It's put out Professional Farmer 2014, I think it is. It's coming out tomorrow, actually. Don't know if I'm going to pick it up. I'll have to wait and see, to be honest with you, because I'm enjoying this game, and I don't know what the modding scene is going to be like that, because that's one of the reasons why I really like this game, because they do have a really awesome modding scene in this game. And I don't know if that new game's going to have it, or what it's going to be like. I believe Stocko Glass is going to do some Let's Plays on that, so I'll have to wait and check those out just to see what's what and who's who. Interesting fact, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think this would be a really cool addition to this game. So you know how in this game they currently have auctions for fields. I was watching a video by a guy named Machinery Pete on YouTube, who basically covers a lot of auctions in the United States. Farm machinery getting sold and whatnot through like retiring auctions or bankruptcy auctions or whatever it happens to be. Anyways, he was covering a Case IH quad track, basically what you can get in this game, and he was saying how much he thinks it's going to go for, and eventually I believe it went for $220,000 on an auction. So I was thinking, wouldn't that be pretty cool if they had the same idea in this game, where they had like, you went to like a separate screen and there was like an auction guy there, and you bid on certain pieces of equipment that you wanted to. You can do like a little inspection beforehand and see what the going rate for it is and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of a really cool addition to this game, but I think that'd be too much of a simulator, if that makes sense, for this game, and not arcadey enough. guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Because this game is supposed to be a simulator, but it does have certain aspects that aren't necessarily 100% simulator related. So I just think it'd be a really cool addition if they had that in there, but they don't, obviously. So they do have the auctions for the fields. Why am I missing that? That's weird. They do have the auctions for the fields, which is really nice. But it'd be cool if they added the same sort of capability with farm machinery. And I guess they have that with the sales, but it's not quite the same thing. So I'm just gonna hire a worker here. I believe there actually is a sale on right now. Let's take a quick look. Anything that we need? No, I thought there was a sale on. I guess not. And I have this placeable heaps. If you're wondering, I put a, I don't know, it's a chunk, not a chunk. It's alternative tipping, I believe. It would be basically what it boiled down to. But so I guess you could do alternative tipping or placeable heaps, one or the other. So on this particular map, I have a little bit. It's not an alternative tipping point. It's an established tipping point basically. So it's one of the alternative heaps. So this is this right here. So you can actually drive past it and dump stuff there. And I don't know how much you can actually hold there. I think it's quite a bit. I'm not 100%. Because in the alternative tipping, when you actually tip with those, it only holds 130,000 liters, I discovered. Oops, I'm gonna do it here. It's only 130,000 liters. So, I don't know if that means anything, but it'd be nice if they could hold more. Sometimes it'd be nice, but I think the idea behind the establishing an alternative, or a heap, or whatever you want to call it, would be more for like something like, not soybeans, sugar beets or potatoes, so you can just drop a big long load of potatoes there. Alright, I don't know why I hit that button. I shut it off. Didn't mean to shut it off, I meant to hit the hard worker. I don't know if you got that little bit of, I don't know, what do you call it? But it didn't sound very good. I meant to hit H and I hit Y. That's not good. Oh well. I apologize for that if you did hear that. I definitely heard it, so. So, I don't know what I was doing now. Ah yes, for potatoes or sugar beets they would have those big alternative tipping points, and I don't know how much they hold. I'm assuming it's a fair chunk, but it'd be nice if it was, you know, something along the lines of, you know, 500,000 or something like that. I suppose I could use the, not the placeable, but I could use the, what do you call it, the bunker that you can move around. I could use one of those for grass, I suppose, which might be a bit easier. They only cost $6 grand, so. Not yet, maybe in the future. So, this field has a pond in the middle of it. I don't know if you would actually plant soybeans in this kind of area. That means it's pretty wet. Soybeans are pretty resilient in real life, actually. You can plant them in quite a number of areas and they'll do pretty darn good. But the pond in the middle, that means it's probably a low point here, which is probably pretty wet. So soybeans probably aren't your best bet. So technically the yield around the pond would probably be not very good, but on the high spots it'd be a bit better. I'm just gonna hop into my Fendt here and unload this combine. So, I don't know, but they are pretty resilient. They grow fairly well in Ontario here in Canada. I don't know about other places. According to this map, they grow it in Serbia too, so, which is good, I guess, for Serbia. I think you can use it for soybean oil, you can use soybeans for tofu, I think. Quite a few things. Alright. It's almost got a full load there. I mean the combine, not this timber. There we go. It's going to shut this thing off, hop back in the combine. Let's go back here, turn the cutter back on. There we go. Yeah, but sorry, I had a concert there for a second. But in real life, soybeans do fairly well. They're a pretty good staple for a good rotation. Like you could stick soybeans in there, and then you could probably stick wheat probably right after. Would probably be fine. I don't know what particular nutrient that soybeans need specifically, because I know there are some plants. I think corn needs a lot of potassium, if I remember right, or nitrogen. I think it's nitrogen. I'm not sure what soybeans needs. But basically, one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to plant the same fruit in the same field every single year, because what happens is you deplete the certain nutrient. So for example, if one particular plant needs a lot of nitrogen and you keep planting nitrogen in that same field, you're going to really deplete your field. And then what happens is you have to put like a manual application of nitrogen, and then you have to put probably more pesticide, more herbicide, due to the fact that the weeds have probably set in fairly well, and the bugs as well, basically. So, all right, perfect. Just gonna hop back in my Fent, set him back up again, because he'll be on his way. Yeah, I don't know what the prices for soybeans are. Soybeans at the GEBI. Looks like that's the best price for soybeans, $4.44. Yeah. Yep. So what we're gonna do is, I was gonna say we're gonna sell this, but I don't want to sell it yet because I don't want to waste the gas. And we're probably gonna get a good chunk of this field in this tipper. Especially with the fact that there's that huge pond in the middle there, so. There we go, line it up. I was just watching Dirt Hebbers and Soccer Glaws doing a podcast is what they called it. Still haven't figured out that problem either yet, about the beef being only $1. Someone else tried the map out and they said beef was selling for $1,000, so I don't know what it is. It might be a particular mod I have installed, but I tried without any mods and they still got the same thing, so I don't know what that is or why the reason is. So yeah, sorry, Dirt Hebbers and Soccer Glaws were doing their podcast, and they brought up, well, at least Dirt Hebbers brought up the fact that Duke Farming has shut down his website, which is kind of sad because he has a lot of cool mods, like some of the mods I have in this particular map actually. Where is it? This right here is a Duke Farming mod that he did that I really like. And I have a couple other ones of his too. Like for example, I think so. This B model Mac is also Duke. This is Duke. This is Duke. This is Duke. So he's made a lot of good mods, but I understand, you know, it takes a lot of time to do these types of things, and this is also Duke as well. It takes a lot of time to do these types of things, so I understand why you don't want to invest too much time. This is Duke as well. Jeez, that's Duke. This is not. That's Lazy Mod Studios apparently. This is Duke. This is a nice one too. Anyways, yeah. So he stopped modding, which is unfortunate, but these things happen. So they mentioned that on the podcast, which is kind of interesting. And the really cool thing actually is that apparently Dirt Hebbers is going to do a interview with Duke Farming, or I'm just gonna call him Duke, about doing the whole mod thing, and it's gonna ask him a few questions about that. So that's gonna be a pretty cool little interview that's gonna have, or an exclusive is gonna have about that, because I bet a lot of people are curious about what's going on, or how's that gonna affect Dirt Hebbers' Let's Play on it. Now, as far as I know, or as far as I can tell, it actually isn't going to affect it at all, because Dirt Hebbers records his series well in advance because he's a busy guy and all that jazz. So yeah, so check that out. Keep an eye out for that on the Dirt Hebbers channel. Not on my channel specifically, but it is going to be an interesting interview that he's going to have available eventually. Not sure when. It wasn't specified in the podcast, but definitely going to be interesting. And also Soccer Glass, like I said before, is going to do a Let's Play on farming professional farmer 14, which is going to be kind of cool. So keep an eye out for that as well. That's going to be cool when it comes out. We're getting close to this pond here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little jaunt around the pond and just prevent my combine from going inside of it. So let's do a little circle here around the pond, like so. And then this should prevent my combine from going inside the pond. Actually, what I'll do as well is I'll make it a bit more square instead of a circle here. But it should make the difference. Alright. Let's bring this out. Perfect. Now let's take this on the side. Apparently the soybeans go right into the reeds there. I think that's a little unlikely in real life, I think. If anything, the soybeans would be a lot less here than than anywhere else, just because they don't like that much moisture. They do like a good rain every now and then, but I'm pretty sure they don't like getting bogged down like those ones are. But yeah, that's one thing I wish they had in this game a little bit more, is the fact that in real life it's not all the same yield from the field. It changes quite a bit depending on the type of field it is, the type of soil it is. It also changes depending on what type of nutrients are in the field. So that's one aspect I wish they had a bit more of in this game, but I understand why they didn't go in that much depth. Now, I know a game called Farming Giant does go into that much detail. What's going on there? Farming Giant does go into that much detail, but it's a bit buggy to play. I believe Fadman did a Let's Play series on that, which was, I watched quite a bit of it, and it was pretty interesting to see how much in depth they went basically in that game. And they went fairly in depth actually, to the point where they looked at things like how much nitrogen, how much potassium was in the field, things like how much moisture is in the field, and if you have not enough moisture, you need to set your automatic sprinkler system on, sort of idea. Stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see what you had to do in that particular one. But it was on sale a while ago on Steam, and I considered buying it, but the fact that it was a little bit buggy deterred me quite a bit. So, alright. Now the cool thing about modern GPS and combines these days is that you actually could plot this out. So you could say to your combine that, hey, there's something in the middle right here. And you could say, don't go here, kind of idea. So it's pretty amazing what you can do with modern technology these days. Alright. Let's lift that up. So one of the other cool things I noticed when I was in the combine, holy smokes. When I was in the combine this summer was the fact that you can say when there's a bale as well, which is kind of cool. So like if you're doing baling, for example, you can mark bales on the field as well, which is kind of cool. At least I thought it was cool. But modern day GPS is pretty sweet. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the episode there, because I don't think you need to watch me harvest the whole field. And what I'll do is I'll probably sell the soybeans off camera, and then we'll come back when we have some more money, and we'll probably buy a liquid manure spreader, something along those lines. Alright, so my name's Ian Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2013. We're playing on the Serbian farm. Alright, catch you guys later.